It's the Doscinco Project.
Money pouring in, clientele growing down.
With your host, Doscinco.
Let's go!
What's up, everybody? You are now tuned in to the Doscinco Project, where we talk about business, entertainment, motivation, and mindset. I have another Philly legend in the building. Absolutely. I'm telling you, and I'm very privileged in interviewing him. Let me tell you, he took the world by storm when he appeared on MTV's Making the Band and was signed by Puff Daddy and Bad Boy Records, and he made a lot of chart-topping hits. He is also well known in the world of battle rapping, being featured in the Ultimate Rap League and Grind Time Now. He's been involved in many classic battles, and you can see them all throughout YouTube. I mean, his resume runs deep, and it runs for years,
Thanks.
you know? Everybody give it up for Ness.
Yeah.
The champ is here.
Boy, Lou.
The champ is here.
What's going on, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. First and foremost, like I said before, I interviewed Oskino, quite a few people.
Shouts out to Oskino.
And shout out to Oskino. And let me tell you, you are one of those individuals that have influenced me as well growing up. I'm talking about 15, 16 years old, watching MTV, Making the Band, and watching your entire process of, doing what you do best, just ripping that mic,
Yeah.
And so I'm just very fortunate to just even have you
I
here.
appreciate them flowers, bro, because as people in the entertainment business, we forget to give our flowers to our peers and our colleagues. So
Absolutely.
Appreciate that,
Absolutely.
bro. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that. Every time I hear that, when somebody say I grew up, it still sounds surreal to me because I'm still living it.
And you still look young, too.
Thanks, bro.
So,
I appreciate that.
You don't
Lou.
age at all. You don't age at all.
Yeah, Lou. So, just sometimes the feeling be overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I'm just glad to be here, man. Still working on music, still battling at a high level. And, my reward is still being here over 20 years, man, because a lot of rappers come and go, a lot of artists come and go.
Right.
So I pride myself on just staying around and being relevant.
Absolutely, absolutely. What I want to do is, obviously everybody has, they know you for everything that you've accomplished in the music industry.
Right.
Describe your childhood. Like, where did you grow up? How was your family structure? All that good stuff.
Of course, yeah. I was born, raised in Philadelphia. Sound like Will Smith. I was born in 77, the year of the serpent.
Okay.
27 is the year of God. So I was that era. If you wasn't born in that era, you got to know that was like kind of almost like the ending of the civil rights movement. And It was kind of like breaking into the 80s with the Reagan era. So but I always lived in Philly, born and raised here. Just had a normal upbringing. My parents got married at a young age.
Okay.
While I was at a young age, they got married probably 4 years after I was born, and today they still married to this day.
Oh, that's awesome. You hardly hear that.
So
You hardly hear that.
So I came up in a double parent household.
Okay. Me as well.
My father was a veteran. He was in the Navy, ended up working for the National Park Service, and my mother is a registered nurse. So they both are career-orientated people. And with that, it still didn't mean hard work and just dedication and you don't get nothing from nothing. And that's what I learned from them. They got up every day and went out and made a living. And that kind of transitioned and resonated into my rap career and my musical career as being an artist.
I love that you mentioned that, especially about your upbringing and your family, because a lot of times we hear about, and it happens, but we hear about a lot of rappers having that single parent household or not being raised by anybody, the grandparents. And, it almost kind of stigmatizes it to where in order for you to enter into the rap game, you got to have that broken family household, whereas you grew up two parent household,
right.
Married. I grew up in a 2-parent household.
Right.
Also, they were married as well, and they got together when they were young.
Yeah. So, just elaborate on what you said. That necessarily doesn't mean you won't have a good upbringing.
That's true.
Because my father battled alcoholism, my mother battled drug addiction.
Okay.
It's been a thing in my life that I had to overcome.
Right.
And I like to see that to say just sometimes when always you have the two parents in the household,
Sometimes
they could
not
be a
always right.
bad influence sometimes.
That's true.
So I'm just happy that I got to see both sides of the spectrum, to their bad habits and to their good habits.
Yeah.
And I just try to learn from their strengths and also learn from their weaknesses.
That's true. That makes sense. So I know you touched on getting into hip hop. What age did you get into the hip hop scene, and who influenced you to go that route?
Well, obviously, being that I was born in the late '70s, I came up in the I would say the early '80s where hip hop was just flourishing. So like basically what I want to try to say is it wasn't as lit as it is now. So it was only like 3-4 areas of hip hop, which was breaking, DJing, rapping, and sound bombing, graffiti.
It was just building.
It was just building. So I picked breakdancing.
Oh, okay. So you were breakdancing.
Yeah, I was a breakdancer. So I was a b-boy. So just coming from urban city as a Philadelphia, there's a lot of competition, and there's just a lot of you always trying to carve out your niche to shine. And like I said, being from the urban, everybody is a vast numbers of us in these areas, and nobody just wants to grow up a nobody. So you try to find something to hold on to something or attach yourself to something that gives you the individuality that you're looking for.
Gotcha.
So breakdancing was my way to express my individuality.
Wow.
And then after the years growing up and because I was real smart. My parents always was good proprietors of being a good school student. Okay. So I was made to do my homework, made to turn in my book reports on time, never cut school. I didn't start cutting up until later in my academic career in high school. Mm-hmm. So I took the test to be in Central High School, which is like a pre-collegeatory school.
It's like one of the best schools in Philly.
I mean, Cassidy went there,
Right.
Bill Cosby went there. So, and I was fortunate to take the test and be accepted in Central, and I learned a lot of things, and my favorite subject was English. And reading and writing, which if you don't know, not to be talking stupid to anybody, but English is basically a subject where you read a lot of literature, you look up a lot of words that you don't know, and you find the meaning. So I say that to say this: that helped me build my vocabulary and have a vast knowledge of words and what they meant,
Gotcha.
And it helps in writing. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So. These things was some of the instruments that shaped me in my career,
and that's why your flow's so impeccable. When you listen to your wordplay, you definitely see how you've increased that vocabulary in there. Where you don't dumb it down,
right?
You make people think, and you make people smarten up, so to speak, through it.
So yeah, like some of those things that some of the things I left behind, and some of the things I took with me, and I'm just grateful that God gives me the. A chance to wake up every day and try to right my wrongs, man. And, being in the game 20 years plus going, because we got signed in 2002. It's 2022.
It was my last year of high school, man.
And, the average lifespan of a rapper's career is only 5 years. 2 now.
I'm surprised because now it's one song.
One song.
One song, that's
and
it.
You're done. So
that's so true.
And the atmosphere is so microwavable. That's how I like to say it. You know what I mean? So the attention span is real short. Like you might come out with a whole body of work and you might get maybe a week or two, maybe a weekend. Whereas when I was coming up in the era, I was coming up in the Nesses, the J's, the Bigs, you would live with their whole album for the next 6 months of your life.
That's true.
And they would drop, repeated singles.
And you follow their career from the beginning
now
to
it's
the end.
like he got the hot record, he a millionaire, he collab.
Yep.
Don't know how label have to pull him in the studio to complete albums, something that they can make money off of. It's like everybody's just independent, mercenary artists almost to a sort now.
So who's your musical influence? Who helped you as far as who are the people that you looked up to, basically?
Like I said, coming from the growing up in the early '80s, Mike was everything.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people they like whether you like my animation or you don't like it, A lot of that comes from showmanship, watching people perform, watching them captivate the crowd from their body movements, their performances, their mannerisms, their gestures, the way they move their face, their hands. There's a lot in body language.
You known
So,
for the gestures too. You known for the gestures.
Right.
I love you for that too.
Right,
Because
so-
you are so animated with the way you flow. You not only just spitting it, but your whole body is just like
Yeah,
artistically
it's almost like,
expressing.
yeah.
Hilarious, man.
So
the way
Mike
you
was like
doing it.
one of my guys because Mike gave you that total package.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? The look, the energy, the charisma, the voice, the witty wordplay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was one of my big, like, I really looked up to Mike, and then the things that made him such a big superstar is the things that I pulled from him.
Gotcha.
Got to be Big Daddy Kane. A lot of people don't say Big Daddy Kane, but you got to understand, coming from my era, being
He's
a
an
dark-skinned
originator.
guy
Right.
from like a bad neighborhood, Kane being from Brooklyn, the dark-skinned guy was always the last. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it was like, he was my hero in that sense. Like, yo, the dark-skinned cat from the Brooklyn with the wordplay.
Popping. Yep.
And then he still would give you the dance moves, and it was still a performance. So he was
Gotcha.
one of my big, role models coming up. And I got to say the last one, my bad, not to cut you off.
Yeah, no worries.
Big.
Gotcha.
Big. And that was like what led me to always like wanting to be on Bad Boy because of the house that he built, him and Puff
Gotcha.
built.
That
And
makes
how they
so
just
much
made
sense.
it so like, yo, I want to get over there. Like it's so
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about that, right? So, obviously you started to build a name for yourself in Philly. What was the process like getting selected for MTV Making the Band?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a crash course in the story. Me and my producer, Black Key, he's from my neighborhood. We used to be in a group called the Bum Rush. We had some regional success, but then later on, we all split up. And then Black Key decided to, cut a demo on me and be my producer. So I signed a production deal in 2000, coming home from jail. 2000, come home from jail. May 17th, 2000, I came home from jail. I made the show 2 years later, that September of 2002. So we was cutting records and we was doing demos and stuff like that. We was shopping around, nobody would bite. Then we ended up meeting Timberland.
Okay.
So he was like kind of like mentoring us. Then we met DMX because my producer had landed 2 big records on DMX Depression album, Who We Being Right Here,
Okay.
which pushed the album to platinum. So we had a lot of pull at that time in the industry. So we was shopping a demo, nobody would bite, and by that time, we was just, kind of like moonlighting with these big label moguls and trying to, get a hit with one of them, try to get it like, try to figure out some type of deal.
Okay.
Nobody would, it wasn't no priority back then because you know how the industry was going. It was all off face value. So make a long story short, we just went back to the drawing board. We cut more records, and then we just start doing anything that could try to make a vessel into the game. So make a long story short, Miss J, by developing a relationship with Timberland, Miss J was also from Philly. She was signed to his Beat Club imprint. One day
remember
she
that.
decided to go up the radio to promote one of her singles, Ching 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 with Nelly Furtado. She took me along. With that, I got to spit on 103.9. The program director took a liking to me, which was Jay Black. Jay Black told me after we had got off the radio, spit live, he was like, whatever I got going on, I'm gonna include you in it. Okay. So then we rewarded to 2002 to Making the Band. So Making the Band just happened to do the competition with 103.9.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when Jay Black got that information, he was like, yo, just come out. They're doing a casting call. Just come out and try out.
Okay.
Came out and try out. Didn't work so well because there was a lot of people. So they really give you a short time to spit. They maybe give you 15, 30 seconds for you to impress them.
Oh, wow.
So, being that there was a lot of people, contestants, a lot of people auditioning, I only had probably like a 15-second window to spit. And then, I wasn't on the call blacklist. But if you watch the first season of the show, he picked who he wanted to pick, but didn't feel he had the meat and potatoes of the group.
Gotcha.
And he did it again. So I retried almost like 5 blocks from here to Trocadero.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I was put back on the call list. Put back on audition list to audition for Puff in front of in front of Puff in New York.
So you were relentless. You were persistent. You didn't allow the failures of the first tryout
Right.
to get you down. You came right back.
Yes.
And that's when you got that start.
Yes.
Describe that experience that you had, because we all saw, we all saw on TV, but, how did you feel being around Diddy?
It's
and
overwhelming. My
everybody?
first time I seen him, I fell into a bunch of equipment. And it's
You serious?
documented. It's documented on the show. Yeah.
Okay.
The first time, because the way it happened, I was in Redden at the time. So I, just coming from Philly and being from a low income housing and all that, you never thought that you're gonna get the type of looks that, how should I say it, better looking people,
Gotcha.
better marketing looking people.
Right,
Better
right.
marketing, more people.
Yep.
So you like, they don't want me. They doing a TV show.
Right.
I'm not TV material. Ended up getting the call. I was in Redden. I got the call at maybe 11:30. The callback time was probably like 1:30 in New York. So you know how you got the distance from Redden, PA to New York. So we ended up leaving at 3:30, 2 hours past the callback time in New York.
Wow.
Drove up there. My cousin coerced me to go. We going back and forth, arguing. I don't want to go. I ain't gonna make it. We just gonna be going up there for nothing, wasting gas,
Right.
shit like that. So he was like, he persuaded me to go. We hopped in the car, drove to New York. So this is like almost 5 hours past the time that I should have been there.
Wow.
So I'm like, they really not gonna
they
mess
not
with me. I'm not even punctual.
Right.
So I just did a hood move, project move. I hopped out the car, told my cousin to go park the car, and just walked past the long line that was wrapped around the corner.
No way.
Went straight to the door and knocked on it. Told them I was a callback from Philly. Told them my name. They looked at my name, and they was like, "Oh, you Ness," and then pulled me straight from the street.
Put you
and
right
lied.
in there.
So my anxiety built up. So when you get up there audition, they ask you what's your name, where you from. I told them that, and then the beat comes on, whatever beat they play, and then you spit. Well, trying to get in my act and trying to shake the nervousness off, I wound up falling into a bunch of equipment that was like to the rear of the stage. Embarrassed, I couldn't even tell you the word. Like, that's an understatement. With that being said, Puff, everybody that was in the room asked me, was I okay? I said I was okay. But I used that anger to fuel my audition.
Right.
So I just got like, man, F that. I'm from Philly. My name Ness. I'm like, yeah, like they didn't even just see me fall and bust my ass in front of.
Right.
So that kind of like aggressiveness kind of like got Puff's attention. But by me falling, I'm thinking they don't want nobody that's clumsy, that's falling in this stuff, breaking shit.
Right.
But they made me sweat. So they called like 50 contestants that was going to advance in the competition.
Okay.
And called me last.
Wow.
So that's just one of the little mind games that labels play.
Yep.
Even if they love you, they really like you, and they really are potential for something, they'll make you sweat it out.
They don't want to stroke your
They'll
ego.
call everybody.
Right.
Didn't call you.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the experience. It was like pins and needles the whole time.
So now you got selected. You're in the house. What did you pick up from Diddy or anyone else in the industry that really opened your eyes to, to learn more about building a career as a hip hop artist?
I was really a sponge when I was around Puff, and a lot of people, it's just speculation that we had a unbalanced relationship, but people have to know that he was the sole reason why I was up there for so long. I was up there from 02 to 09. I had 2 deals, one with the band Universal, Bad Boy, and then my second deal was with Warner Atlantic Music Group.
Okay.
So I had a solo deal too, which materialized in 06. So I was up there for 7 years, 2 deals.
Wow.
Nobody does that on Bad Boy.
Right.
Only dropping 1 project. So for the people that's not to know, me and Diddy don't have no bad blood. He was the sole reason that I was up there for so long and excelled so well and had some type of mainstream success. He also gave me writing opportunities.
Okay.
I've written verses for his press play imprint in 05. It went on to get picked up by a Burger King commercial, and then 2 years ago in Making the Black 4 movie.
Oh, wow.
So 116, 3 checks.
Wow. That's awesome.
So yeah, I was just a sponge when I'm around him, and he get a bad rap about not looking out for his artists, but you got to understand somebody in his stature. He's been through a lot of stuff, and I'm nobody's lawyer.
Right.
But coming from Philly, my mentality is this is a business arrangement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we might become friends during that time.
Right.
But our initial, reason why we are in bed together, pause, is that I'm an artist, and you are a exec that facilitates
And
artists.
his main objective when he looks at you, he looks at you as a product that he's trying to sell.
Right, so it's different when the Rockefeller and the Beanie Siegel saga thing, where they fought wars and they diss people, and you know what I mean. It just was. Bad Boy put out a casting call. I answered it, and I became the first one picked out of 40,000 contestants.
That's awesome.
So every day up there, you know, even though I grew a relationship with Puff and strengthened over the time, I just carried it like every day could be my last. So
That's true.
You know what I mean, I better soak up all the game I could to where, you know, that door closed on me.
Right.
And it didn't happen that way. It happened, you know, because it was industry wise. During industry terms, that's how my agreement with Bad Boy ended. It wasn't me being dropped off the label, or me and Puff had a disagreement or argument or whatever bullshit people try to make up to put on why I'm where I'm at today. He went into another distribution. He was at one Atlantic Music Group, and then during the end of that deal, he couldn't bring his old roster to his new situation over at Interscope with Jimmy Iovine.
Gotcha. He wanted to start off fresh, or they had him start off fresh.
So
Gotcha. What do you think about? Because I know you and I talked about this before the interview. What do you think about a lot of artists speaking out against Diddy right now? I mean, obviously you heard it with Mace and so forth. What do you think about that overall situation, or can you give your take on it? We don't have to get into the controversy.
I know. I got you. I'm gonna basically put it like this. I don't know if you've seen this movie. It's called The Cobblers with Adam Sandler and Method Man.
Okay.
So the movie is kind of like it's kind of like drama, sci-fi. But in the movie, Adam Sandler plays a cobbler. Cobbler is a shoemaker or a shoe repairman. And in this movie, when he people bring shoes to his shop and he repairs them. But once he puts them on, he becomes that person.
Gotcha.
So the movie is like a twist and turn of him helping people out in need that comes to his shop and give him his shoes.
Gotcha.
And with these shoes, he's able to be different people and help them out in life situations. So a cobbler is a protector of souls.
Okay.
So that's why I look at it as Diddy. Once you lay that hand on somebody and knight them, bad boy, you are a protector of their soul.
Right.
So sometimes, you know, he hurts people because he's so big and he doesn't realize the carnage that he creates unsubconsciously because he's there and you're trying to get to where he's at, but he doesn't have the time to do the day-to-day to pull you up. But signing to a label and a mogul as big as him, that's what you expect. So that's just some of the misconceptions that people have with Puff. But like I said, Fred, truth is his truth, and Mace truth is his truth. And whoever did as business with Puff, their truth is their truth.
Right.
Me, mine was a little different. Now, I seen an interview where Fred said, I ain't really was messing with Ness when he was doing what they say. Well, little to the public, I was on a run on the show the whole time. I had when AWOL on my probationary responsibilities here in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
So I was actually on Making a Band, violating.
Wow.
So way before we even made the house to do the boot camp, to do the physical training, I had to go back to Philly with a letter written from Puff, which was a total, complete shot in the dark.
He didn't have to do that.
He did that. So when I took it down to Philadelphia, they okayed it. So I was in legal care of Bad Boy the whole time on the show.
Wow.
So me kind of not doing what they say is kind of not like looking right.
Right. He gave you your get out of jail free card. Right. You have to comply. You got. Why would you go against it? You don't want to bite the hand that feeds
so it's
you.
like and these are some of the things that some of the members didn't understand.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense.
So everybody's their truth, and just my story was different. Me and Puff always did good business. Yeah, we didn't walk down the aisle with the rainbow and the platinum album. Yeah, that wasn't. But I learned a lot, and the things and the tools I learned and things that I learned has really facilitated me to be survived until this day, man. It's just real
and
rap.
Still be relevant.
Yeah, so I would never bash him, even though, like I said, it's been some ups and some downs.
Of course.
But 20 years later, I mean, maybe a decade, you might feel bitter, but not two of them.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right. You're right. It makes sense. It makes sense. My man Matty Ice 215 on Instagram loves you, by the way.
Facts. Shout out to
Loves you.
Maddie.
Now, he told me to ask you this. When you were in the house, there was a quote on the wall.
I don't remember it.
Okay, but you were the only one
I did.
that knew it when Diddy called it out.
I did.
What made you gravitate to that wall and actually memorize that quote?
Well, being the fact that we had to walk past it every day to get downstairs, it just, I mean, I'm a person like this. I don't know what it's called, but I know there's a word for it. It's like selective memory.
Okay.
To where you like process certain information at a time.
Yep.
So every time I walk down, I would just remember one line, like a top line.
Gotcha.
So then now today, the second line.
Okay.
So now the third day, so by the time they try to pop something on this, I already have most of the meat and potatoes of the saying. I just gotta like wing the last part.
Did you know that they might ask that question? Like, you know, or did you just say, you know what, I'm just going to memorize it? It's just something.
This
I
is
thought
a
was
fun
very
fact.
powerful.
They always knew I had a future up there. So for
Okay.
me to not comply with them, it was just totally just was idiotic. They was telling me behind the scenes, yo, this is your first kind of like mission.
Right.
Make sure this is good, and we are almost promising you a future. I don't know what they was telling everybody else.
Right.
But they was promising.
They were telling you that. They were telling you that.
It was promising you a future. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then, okay. So after making the band, you obviously have some YouTube videos out of you battling Jay Mills.
Jay Mills, yup.
Infamous battle with you and
Infamous
Jay
battle.
Mills. How did that come about?
I knew Jay Mills. We actually had mutual friend and poster boy, the 106 and Park champ. He was signed to Cuda Love, which was cool with Mace, that whole Harlem World thing. So Jay Mills was a product of Harlem. And we had never met each other, but we knew about each other. So Puff is from Harlem, and he has friends there and people that, he has association with. And at the time, they was like managing and producing and had Jay Mills signing the One to Blow.
Okay.
One to Blow Atlantic. So, that was like the apex predator at the time. So, niggas in the studio, street niggas, like industry niggas, money,
Right.
talking shit. I got the best artists. And, they sprung Mills up. And then that's Puff, Ness.
Yeah.
Set it up. And then that's how that happened. But we kind of met on the battlefield. But
That was an epic battle,
we
man.
was like kind of cool through a mutual friend. But
Gotcha.
it just happened that we met each other right there, like in like the heat of battle.
That was an epic battle.
We actually did a rematch 2 years ago on RBE. Shout out to RBE,
Okay.
ARP, Red Bree Entertainment. Shouts out to Mills too. So it's like, he has to deal with a lot of things that I have to deal with in battle rap, the failed deal,
Right.
quote unquote, and
Right.
falling from grace. But you can never fall from grace because the internet is here now.
And the thing is, rather you so-called fall from grace or not, your name is still living on.
Yeah, facts. I've been, and not to poke no type of negative energy towards the working class people. I've worked plenty of jobs before I got on.
Right.
I've hustled, did prison time and all that stuff. And I respect the working classes. I respect entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Work. So I just used all the things that I learned to like navigate my way through that, man. Getting up early, being attentive, not being high, being on time.
Yep.
And these are some of the things why the same people when I was popping in 02, these are the same people that paid me to come out to their events throughout these years because of the way that I carried it.
You better talk heavy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The describe the business of battle rap. So obviously that's an area that you've been flourishing in the past few years. Is it similar to boxing? Is it as far as
it's
the way
just like
business
boxing, but
sets
the
up?
politics is it's got a little bit. It's kind of like squeezing out the feeling that you got when you first watched it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And like I said, we don't want to poke no negative energy at any of the labels, but these bigger labels such as URL, King of the Dot, Rare Breed, they have their own artist development.
Selective stable of artists, right? And that they
And
back.
then they got people who they got on payroll to pay as far as the outside talent.
Gotcha.
So like if you're not really like beating up your social media or really engaging with your fans, is nothing for really to book you for.
Gotcha.
Unless they bringing you back, like, oh, this is a nostalgia car. We bringing Ness back.
Right.
A lot of these young killers out here, man. A lot of these guys are growing up in battle rap. When we grew up, we wanted the battle rap to get to a deal.
To get to a deal, right. And
These
then you need
guys
that all
is
behind.
yeah.
This is what they do.
They like we battle
24/7.
rapping to be lit. Period.
Right, right, right.
So I mean, and just like being a reality TV star, all of these, I'm a part of all these things.
Okay.
The hip hop genre, the reality TV star genre, the battle rap genre. So I wear 3 different hats. So you could pay me for appearance. You might could pay me for a verse. You might be able to book me for a battle. So like all these things I got going on, as well as my own Cheesecake. So in
I want to touch on that.
2022, I mean everything that people tried to use against me, I tried to flip it.
That's it.
They tried to use the fight against me, I post the fight.
Yep.
They try to use the cheesecake, I got my own cheesecake. So like 2022, we just reversing that energy, man.
It's
Like,
smart.
yo, dude, go get me a cheesecake. Like, no, I have my own. Buy it.
Facts.
You take cash app? Hell yes.
What's the name of your cheesecake?
It's called Ness Philly Cheesecake. It's on
Okay.
Instagram at Ness Cheesecake, NESSCHEESECAKE on Instagram and on TikTok.
Is it in any retail stores or is it shipped to order right now?
It's shipped to order right now. You definitely can hit the page and do the pre-order. You must pay before you get your merchandise. But right now we just got the basic straight cheesecake, no flavors. This is my first year in the business, and I'm understanding how it's rainy insurance in case somebody gets sick.
Yep.
Then if you stockpile fruits and veggies and stuff that you want to put in a cheesecake with nobody don't buy it, then it just waste.
Gotcha.
So we doing it by order now. So I'm just learning. It's my first year, man, but it's been lucrative, and it's been gaining awareness. I think my page is up to almost like 1,000 followers, if not over. And it's just like people's really like tuned in and got all the stars, taking pictures and posting and reposting and just making sure I get good promo, man. So 2022 has been a good year for the cheesecake, but 2023 is going to be even better. Different flavors, different promo deals. We might have the battle rap segment of the cheesecake. We might have the Tay-Rock Caveman Pie or the Sue Surf Blueberry Wing.
I love it.
I
love how you take a potential weakness that people saw and you turn that thing into a strength.
Turn.
And make money off of
lemons
it too.
into lemonade.
That's it. I remember one time in hip hop history when the Game was going against 50 Cent.
Facts.
And I think the Game was talking about G Unit. And
Facts.
50 was like, it don't matter if you say G Unit or G Unit, I own both.
Wow.
Because he went behind the scenes and he purchased the name.
Did he?
Fact. So he was like, he's making money off of everything. That's how you know you a genius when you take those weaknesses.
50 is
turn
kind
it
of
to
like
a
my
strength.
graduating class. You got to understand, we got signed in 02. We didn't drop our album until September 30th of the next year, 2003.
Gotcha.
That was the year of 50 Cent.
Right.
We Get Rich or Die Trying.
He
The
took
All-Star
over.
game in Atlanta. After that weekend, it was 50 Cent Mania.
Wow.
So our when we went on a promo one for the 2 Out for TV album,
Yep.
like that was kind of like who we seen in the same places all the time. 50 Cent, G Unit, Freeway, Ludacris, DTP, Chingy, David Banner, Little Flip, T.I., The Game,
That's crazy.
Jeezy. Like these was all the guys that was like making the dope music at the time, like the heavy hitters.
Yep.
So we would see these guys all the time. If we was coming in the door, they was coming out.
Wow.
If we was coming out, they was coming in.
That's crazy.
We'd do an interview and leave out G Unit and 50 Cent would be coming in. Then we go into that, leave out St. Lunatics and Nelly is coming in to do an interview. So these was the guy that was like the graduating class of when I came out.
Right. And he and also not to just be talking about 50, but he also pivoted quite a bit too. He
Hell
started to
yeah.
see that his music was declining, no longer relevant for the newer generation because it was a new group of artists coming in, and he pivoted and he ended up doing movies and doing the TV
Yeah,
show.
the Power is like one of the biggest. Shouts out to 50, man. I seen him when he came out with the vodka.
Okay. Yep.
And he did like an in-store in Philly, and he was trying to get me on his skit show at the time
Nice.
that he did for BET. It never came to fruition, but like he definitely always looking out for like the younger talent and people that's like, really got something to to make money off of, man. And 50 is just an excellent mogul and
Yep.
excellent troll and excellent merchandiser and marketer. And Phil 50 he's just a one man fucking band. So shouts out to 50 though, yeah. So that was like some of the guys that was around when we was running around.
Okay.
But sometimes when you with Puff, a lot of people like to work with Puff. So when Fred started making interviews about nobody want to work with him, some of these things are true. Because nobody want to go against Puff because he's the bigger money maker.
Right.
So it's almost to where it's like it's an unwritten law to where you gotta just close your mouth, man, and get your money.
Right.
And then when you run the bag up, then you can talk your shit.
Right. No, it makes sense. It makes sense because the thing is, especially when you have people like the Puff Daddies of the world, the Jimmy Iovine's, the Dr. Dre's, and so forth.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're the Mount Rushmore, and
Facts.
you don't want to burn any bridges along the way. So you try to keep those relationships intact, even though it may not be favorable.
Yeah, people
to
say
you.
that, but then you got people who be like, well, they ain't coming to get you anyway. What good is it doing? You being loyal. Sometimes loyalty can kill you.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you gotta learn. It's a balance.
Gotta know how to balance it out.
There's a
Yeah.
balance.
No,
So,
it makes sense.
Well, shouts out to Puff, man. He's still doing big things, and you gotta understand we was around there at 2002. So Justin and Christian, they was like little kids.
Right.
So like they like my little brothers.
Right. And
So
now
when I
he's
see
putting
them,
them on in the music.
when I see them flourishing, I'm like, that's the swag that he got from being around the band.
Right. That's crazy, man.
So I mean, it just was a good experience, man. And like I said, I made some money. I effed up some money, but what I've learned from Puff is that, your biggest testament is gonna be your friends and family. A lot of people say that's what happened, and I was like, it wasn't Puff and them, it was y'all.
Right. Yeah.
They gave me the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was y'all pulling me this way and that way, and that's you don't do this, and you ain't over here, and you ain't go see this one, you ain't help this one with this and that. So, you know what I mean? I see why some of the artists from our city don't come back until they all the way got their feet planted where they wanted it to be.
I always said it. I said this years ago because I remember I was doing. I had a YouTube channel called Kadan TV at the time, and I was filming a lot of artists, especially around 08, 09, and so forth. And we have a whole world of talent when it comes to hip hop, music, period.
We've always been there.
You go back to Philadelphia International Records, 2500.
Shouts out to my guy Pop Tracks, Gamble and Huff.
Right. And I mean that's kind of like that's the Motown of Philly right there.
Facts.
Motown of Philly.
Factory system.
To have so many great artists in Philly, and people are just trying to
Philly the best in everything.
Right.
Boxing, DJing, basketball, baseball, hockey, everything, man. DJing, boxing, like you gotta understand. Philly, Chicago, and New York, we have this rivalry and everything that's under the sun.
Yep.
It could be pitching quarters.
You're right.
There's gonna be a guy from Chicago in there,
Yeah.
a guy from New York,
You're
even
right.
to the pizza and the pretzels and the water ice. And
Yeah.
New York got the best people. No, Chicago got the best pizza. No, Philly got the best cheesesteaks and water ice and soft pretzels and stuff like that and cheesesteaks. So it's like we got this rivalry. But when you go to jail, these same things that you would be an op about is the same things that you like kind of unify you in jail.
Yeah,
where you from? You from Philly? You rap? Oh, you rap. What's up? I'm from Chicago. I rap. Oh, I'm from Texas. I rap.
Brings y'all together.
Bring you together.
Yeah. Because y'all all have the same type of mentality. Absolutely.
We might be street niggas, but them street niggas, they don't write raps.
Right.
So it's a different energy that we tap into.
That's so
See
true.
what I'm saying?
So true.
Yeah.
What advice can you give to the younger generation of artists that are coming into the game or have been in the game for the past few months or year?
At this point, man, like 10 years ago, you were probably almost a fool to say, don't let no label dictate your fate. The internet is there for you. It's made it an even playing field.
Yeah.
Somebody can turn into a nobody overnight, and nobody can turn into a somebody overnight. Back to a nobody.
Facts.
Overnight.
Facts.
So it was like the way the climate is, and just as far as how we receive music through the streaming services and different apps, Spotify and Tidal and all that, and it's just you can't be stopped. All you have to do is signify, point out your crowd and your base audience, and just feed them,
Right.
and produce content.
That's it.
And look and
be
sit
consistent.
back, be consistent,
Yep.
and just try to have as many engagements as you can, and never be scared to go outside of your comfort zone. A lot of Philly artists, I'm hot, I'm a real dude, I bust my gat, I'm nice, but you're not going out of Philadelphia. Sometimes it don't come to you. Anything that came to Philadelphia, they had to go somewhere else to get it.
That's so true. That's so true.
Except for Philly International.
Yeah, that's so true. And it even goes to the point where it's like, sometimes your strongest supporters are outside of family and friends.
Facts.
Sometimes you get the most love outside of that. So it's kind of like the same way with the city. Sometimes you gotta leave outside of the city to build that, and then come back.
It's always been like that, man. And this resurgence I got, like recently, I've started a series on my Instagram page. Anybody not to know? I was hacked off my official page, my verified page, 215 Ness. I'm back on my backup page, which is Ness_215.
Okay.
It's called Let Me Borrow This Beat. So I just got back in my Too Raw for the Street.
Love it.
2002, 304 bag, and just started giving them free giveaways on a gram.
Love
and then
it.
that snowballed, and one turned into 2 a week, 2, 3, 4, to where now I'm getting different clothing companies. Now they're paying me to wear their merchandise
Awesome.
while I'm doing my freestyle.
You're getting sponsorships out of that now. That's awesome, man. What would you say? What would you say as far as from the business perspective of things? You're handling sponsorships, you're handling your cheesecake products and so forth. Like, what's keeping that together? Like, what do you have a team behind you? Or you
Definitely have a team. Shout
Okay.
out to Get Your Weight Up Twine. He had the Get Your Weight Up DVDs back in the day, close friend of AR Rab. He was with that whole OBH thing with the merchandise and his hoodies and that. He was like the force behind all that.
Okay.
And then I got Chuck Lawless, which is my business partner, and we own 54ville ENT, which is a entertainment business.
Okay.
So those are the kind of guys that keep me well-rounded and always got the edge of the street on, and like this NFT craze that came in.
Yes.
So lately I've been trying to do the research on that, and really try to plant my feet in that, because that's like where it's going.
Right.
So I have people around me that keep me grounded as well, keep me up on what's to come.
Gotcha.
In the future. And sometimes it could be challenging because we men and we have our differences and disagreements, but all in all, I've found the right concoction, the right team that works and can coexist and work together.
Gotcha.
And that's mainly sometimes what it is. You could be a whack rapper,
Yep.
don't know how to dress, don't know how to do nothing. But if you find those 2, 3 people that can move you around and get you where you need to be and have you looking like you look, it could turn into something.
Yeah, they're going to get you right. That's awesome, man. Listen, I appreciate everything, man.
Facts,
I
bro.
appreciate this.
I'm up here
interview.
dropping jewels on you dudes, man.
Listen, man. It's more than jewels, man.
Yeah, we did Dave Chappelle. We did
right.
Source Awards. One of the last Source Awards aired on TV. We
crazy.
did The View with Barbara Walters. We did Soul Train while Don Cornelius was still alive.
That's crazy.
We sold over 500,000 records on our first go. Nobody ever heard us.
Legendary.
Then we did the Bad Boy 2 soundtrack, which that went platinum.
Yep.
And then my writing credits for Press Play, that went platinum.
Wow. That's crazy.
So stop talking about Ness got residual income.
He got residual income, and he has some of the best lyrics in the game. Memorable.
The best.
The thing that continues to go through my head is
which one?
What is it? It's Elliot Ness. Y'all know the name.
Crept through the back door, called in the game. Put rap on lock, the ball in the yeah, man.
I'll tell you. Well, listen, man. I appreciate this interview. Thank you so much.
I
You're a
appreciate
Philly
that.
legend. Gotta give you your flowers. Philly legend.
Flowers.
Out here. You know what I'm saying? And we out, y'all.